Okay, let's look up the lyrics to this massive heap of shit so we can be part of the Great Awakening. The dream, not Dream Theater. Dream. Living the dream. Howdy y'all, it's me the Medspeds, and I have risen from the dead to come bring you the good news. And the good news is that Five Finger Death Punch have released a controversial anti-mask video. And it totally sucks. Now, I don't know how many people in my fan base are part of the metal or hard rock or alternative community, but if you are, you've probably heard that Five Finger Death Punch is kind of a meme. They've been called the Nickelback of metal. The reason why is mainly because of their image. They kind of take themselves super seriously with like the over-the-top bro metal, and they're like tough guys and look like they ride motorcycles and whatnot. And it's just a little extra. Like it's cringe. I don't really know how to word it anyway. Other than that, I personally don't really give a shit. I once went through a phase where I had to like point out all the bands that I thought were posers and make sure everyone knew that I thought they were posers. But I grew out of that. That was from, I don't know, by the time I was like 15 or 16 up until like 21 or 22. But I'm 30. I've been past that. There's music I don't like. I don't listen to it. And since Five Finger Death Punch really haven't been that popular for an extended period of time, or at least that I knew of, I kind of knew who they were when I was like that, but I just... like I said, I was towards the end of that phase in my life, so I never really spent time hating on them. I just knew that they had that image of being super bro metal. And they also have a large military fan base, which they cater to because, whatever, they're businessmen, or maybe they really are just super patriotic type of guys. I don't know. People in the military gotta listen to music too, I suppose. This is kind of weird.
Captain of the ship was in there. We got a full, not a full tour, but
as much as possible tour.
I got to go hang out with the missiles in the bottom of the sub, and we actually got to sign Five Finger Death Punch on one of the nuclear missiles under there. So, yeah.
Did you at least get a picture of
Don't
that?
be messing around. Death Punch missiles coming your way. Calm the fuck down.
But, whatever. We're not here to talk about war and whatnot. We're going to talk about anti-mask stuff because that's super cool right now, considering the fact that we have been in a pandemic for coming up on a year pretty soon. December will make a year. Yay, happy 1 year anniversary, COVID. And why is it making a year? Well, part of the reason is because of shit like this. Propaganda, because only in America is the existence of COVID and trying to prevent it from being spread at an accelerating rate considered political, and it's considered liberal for some reason. But not to Five Finger Death Punch. They don't only consider it liberal, apparently it's straight communism, which is hilarious. If you watch the video, which I'm not going to do a live reaction, they got about 65 other people doing that, and most of them are fucking horrible. Oh my god, that's actually part of the reason I really decided to make this video. I see a lot of people being like, oh my god, so deep. But like I was saying before I went off on that tangent, they consider it communist to wear a mask, apparently. And one thing I want to say that they did do, at some point, I believe it's the singer, responded to the backlash he got, which he completely deserved. Not a lot on YouTube, but there have been some articles saying, hey, this is really fucking stupid. He kind of tried to backpedal and said that the video is more or less about the hypocrisy of the elite not having to wear masks while we are expected to, which seems pretty odd, because some videos are more abstract and left up to interpretation, but, they straight up have the hammer and sickle on a little pin as a woman who's clearly supposed to be Nancy Pelosi, places masks on people's face. Okay, whatever, dude. If you want to backpedal and do some damage control because you realize you fucked up, do what you gotta do, but I ain't buying it. I'm not buying that this isn't just straight up anti-mask bullshit. So let's do a quick review. I've dabbled a little bit. So the video starts off actually not as bad. The first 30 seconds to a minute, I thought, maybe this is overblown and it's just, whatever, the 10 minutes of hysteria from Twitter. Because the beginning of the music video just shows people dressed up as zombies, like hoarding toilet paper, and then it shows like drunk, obese, just Americanized superheroes, just all fucked up and wrestling. And I was like, okay, this is fine. But then it cuts to the people putting on the masks, and they're out and about in public, just, some nice good old Americans getting some ice cream. And then Nancy Pelosi shows up again, but this time she has a bunch of Antifa/BLM protesters on chains. And at some point she sees, oh god, the worst part, she sees an American flag. And when she sees the American flag, she freaks out and releases Antifa to destroy the ice cream stand. It's so cringe. Oh, God, it's so bad. Yes, Nancy Pelosi, the Democratic majority leader, hates America, which is why she's been in the government for a long time. It's so fucking ridiculous. Like, she is not controlling Antifa. Antifa are anti-establishment anarchists for the most part. We got some Marxist-Leninists, and then they do have some just really pissed off liberals, and a few people who are like me that just use the term leftist because they don't want to marry any specific political ideology. But one thing they're not is like super establishment Democrats. A lot of these fucking people do not support Biden. They do not support Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi and Biden are closer to Trump than they're to Antifa. But Five Finger Death Punch do not understand that because they think that she's a communist. People tend to think that communism is a synonym for authoritarianism. But let's buy into their bullshit for a second. If wearing a piece of fabric on my face because I'm trying to slow the spread of a virus that has killed over 200,000 people in this country alone, if that makes me a communist, then I'm a proud communist. Because unlike these conspiracy theory raging anti-maskers, I don't think wearing a piece of fabric on my face is oppression. Just like I don't think wearing a seatbelt is oppression or wearing glasses if you can't see. It really is pathetic because I know what's going on in a lot of these people's heads. I'm not going to claim to know what's going on in all of their heads, but they see that times are changing. They see that there's a new rule, and they really do oversimplify it in their head. They're like, oh, well, I'm asked to do this thing, otherwise I'm asked to leave in most businesses. This is control. I'm against this because I don't like being told what to do by the government. Next thing you know, it's going to be Nazi Germany, which is such a laughable false equivalency because in Nazi Germany, they were trying to kill more people, not save them. So it's quite the opposite, really. So you got your people like the demographic of people that Five Finger Death Punch is really catering to, the Great Awakening, as the little news clip says in the video. You know, they were asleep, they were blind, but now they're awake because they saw Nancy Pelosi release her Antifa people and they destroyed some ice cream stand. Apparently that made them realize that masks are bad because she doesn't have to wear a mask, but everyone else does. Which I really, was that reference to that time that she got her hair cut? It's really not making much sense. So after that point, after Antifa disrespects the small businessman, there's a random war, which they don't actually show who the Patriots are attacking. I would assume it's the zombies. I may have to rewatch that. I know at some point I also forgot to bring up some guy who was like busting rocks, and he had his People Republic of America with the little hammer sickles where the stars are supposed to be. That happened. I don't know if they're breaking free or if they're fighting the Patriots, but of course it just like kind of in slow motion shows some police officers and some military men, you know, running with the American flag, and it's just really, really, really cringe. Until the end, when, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of chuckled a little bit. They had, I don't know who it's really supposed to be. Maybe it was like I don't know if they said the name. If they did, I apologize. I don't have the whole video memorized. But I'm assuming one of the founding fathers, like signing the Declaration of Independence or something, you know. He dozed off and had a daydream where the country is an ultimate destruction. You know, people are asked to wear fabric on their faces because, you know, they want to slow down the spread of the disease. It's just absolute tyranny. What a nightmare. And that's the end of the video. And then it says the end, and then you cross off end. I don't know. It reminds me of the little videos me and Dr. Robin Penis, rest in peace, used to do when we would make X-Men Cartoon Maker. We'd make these little videos, and then at the end we'd always say the end, and then we'd have or is it? And that was from the mind of a 12-year-old. So yeah, that's basically the video. Feeding into this bullshit propaganda, and people are just eating it up, unfortunately. I look at the comments, like I said, I look at some of the reaction videos who think that this is really deep and that this is spot on and that this is a huge problem in the United States of America, that we're being asked to wear masks. There's so much science denial. Like, I just get depressed. It's suicide fuel when I get on Facebook and I see just average, everyday laymen attempting to debunk the fact that masks slow down the spread of COVID. And they argue with all sorts of straw men. First of all, no one's saying that masks prevent COVID in its entirety. That's not what anyone's saying. Okay, maybe someone's saying it. I don't want to play the game of absolutes, but all people that legitimately matter, the CDC, Dr. Fauci, medical doctors, people who do this for a living, people who have been to several years of college and study diseases, not your grandma on Facebook who found a meme on Turning Point USA's page, not them, actual people that know what they're talking about. They all agree that masks slow down the spread of COVID. It's a piece of fabric, you wear it on your face when you go to Walmart, or you stay the fuck home. It's pretty simple. It doesn't stop you from getting fresh air. It doesn't make you sick when you breathe in your own CO2. It helps. The exact percentages, sure, there's some disagreement in the scientific community. They haven't narrowed it down perfectly, but it does help. And thanks to fuckers like Five Finger Death Punch, more and more people are reinforcing the idea in their head that it's all bullshit, it's all communism, it's all authoritarianism, and you're a true woke rebel if you stand up to the man and not wear a mask. It's not rebellion to not wear a mask, it's selfishness, it's idiocy, it's the rejection of science and embracement of conspiracy theories. It is the total cliche American image that people in different countries roll their eyes at and cringe at, that we're so self-absorbed and overconsumed by our own need for convenience that we can't wear a mask knowing that it could save someone's life. Or not the mask in of itself, but prevent possibly spreading the disease to someone else if you're an asymptomatic carrier. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think I covered everything. Not a good video. Go dislike. Go comment saying something. Saying, hey guys, this is not art open to interpretation. This is dangerous. This is a terrible message. And I don't think necessarily YouTube should pull it, because then we're never going to hear the end of it about how they were censored and free speech was taken away, even though, you know, YouTube is a private company and they have their own terms of service, and that's not what freedom of speech is, but, you know, whatever. When we tend to shut these people up with censorship, they like to freak out more, thinking that they're speaking the truth because they're being silenced. The best thing to do is just argue with these fucks and make them look stupid. Prove them wrong. Not that they'll accept it, but maybe someone else who is on the line, they might have their minds changed when initially they're watching the video and they're kind of going along with it. We can only hope. That's all we can really do, and just keep wearing our masks. If the vaccine becomes available and, you know, people are fine when they take it, get your vaccine. I don't know, sanitize your hands, stay 6 feet apart. It's sad that I feel the need to state this, but apparently it's controversial to say those things because COVID's a hoax created by the American government in China somehow to affect the election, even though it's over and people are still getting COVID. Matter of fact, it's even worse right now. Probably because of the election and all the in-person voting and all the rallies and whatnot, marches and all this kind of shit. But it is what it is. I made my point. The video is garbage. If you enjoyed this video, though, please like, subscribe. I have a Patreon, a Discord, all that kind of shit. It'll pop up here in a second. I hope to make more videos in the future, like sooner, preferably not in another year. It's glad to be back. Sorry about my voice. I sound like a cigarette lady right now, and I apologize for that. But yeah, I'm out.
The max